Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. A Panamanian-born dual U.S. citizen shoots dead two climate activists. An Ohio father of an 11-year-old girl groomed by an adult online predator gets threatened with arrest for creating child porn, despite being the child victim in question. What connects both stories is that our next guest tonight writes about both of them and how they're born of a certain anarcho-tyranny. The leftists in power allow anarchy for friends of the regime while imposing cruel tyranny on those deemed to be enemies of the regime. Some people snap under such conditions. I'm not saying that that is an endorsement of such behavior. I'm only explaining what dangers the ruling class is playing with. It's a description and not a prescription. As our next guest writes for Chronicles magazine in a piece titled "The Hobbes Horror," quote, "In the state of nature as conceived by Thomas Hobbes, life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Increasingly, however, the problem is that life looks that way from within society too. Theoretically, the way out of the state of perpetual warfare is to transfer our individual sovereignty, our power over life and death, to a government. In exchange for our unlimited freedoms, we are supposed to get security administered by those we recognize as having a monopoly on force. That's why a father doesn't simply take matters into his own hands when he discovers a predator grooming his daughter. We have agreed that living in society means surrendering the right to act as judge, jury, and executioner. When those we've entrusted to keep us safe and to whom we have forfeited the right of retribution do not fulfill their duty or worse target us, there's something fundamentally amiss with this arrangement," end quote. When it comes to Kenneth Darlington, he appears to have been fed up with those who were protesting the Panamanian government coming to an agreement with Canada for an open pit copper mine. The weeks-long protest led to gridlock and food and fuel shortages. Vigilantism in this situation, separate from a man like Daniel Perry protecting subway riders in New York, is not something to endorse, but it is something to note as a symptom of overall disorder. And as this disorder worsens and the public outcry for officials to just do something, anything gets louder, too loud to ignore, the impetus will be to go after soft targets, to pad statistics, and to make the state pretend that it is working to keep people safe. Like that Ohio father I mentioned earlier. He called the cops at 6 to report that his daughter was being groomed. The cops arrived 6 hours later, not to meet with the victim, but to warn him that she could be the one charged. Soft targets, remember? Watch this insane Porsche security footage.
Good that you say that.
Sprite's good, especially that Gala Sprite.
Oh, you know, I lied to you. Do you ever see that Sprite challenge? They drink a bottle of Sprite and try to burp.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, she's in bed now. It's too late now. She's already asleep.
Well, it still happened though, right?
Yeah. I just the whole point. I just wanted you guys to come over and talk to her. I mean, I just want her to realize what this was. I mean, in reality, there's not much you guys probably can do about it, is there?
I mean, she could probably get charged with child porn.
Who, she can?
Mm-hmm.
She's 11 years old.
She's creating it, right?
She's 11 years old.
It doesn't matter. She's still making porn.
No, she's not. She's being manipulated by a grown-ass adult on the
Is she
internet.
taking pictures though?
You guys have a nice evening.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. Are you serious? Have a nice evening.
Joining us now to discuss is Pedro Gonzalez, a writer who runs the Contra Substack at readcontra.com. Thanks for being here tonight, Pedro.
Thanks so much for having me.
Great. So first, let me ask you about that video we just watched. I mean, it makes me angry every time I watch it, but since you wrote about it for Chronicles, as you wrote in that piece, and I quoted some of it, why track down the predator when they could more easily grab the criminal accomplice, your 11-year-old daughter? Is that what we see going on here as disorder just worsens overall?
It's a pathological level of apathy by the people that we've entrusted to protect us, or indifference. It's hard to say. And in fact, when that video first came out, I was actually reluctant to write about it or even share it because I assumed that this has to be fake. This has to be something that someone set up to go viral on TikTok. There's no way that two police officers would respond to a call regarding an 11-year-old who's being groomed online in this way. It's surreal. It's unbelievable. And the reference in my article is on the one hand to Thomas Hobbes and the state of nature and all that stuff, but also to a movie by John Carpenter called In the Mouth of Madness. Basically, it's this movie about how the whole world is going insane, and it's going insane in a way that is just beyond human comprehension. And that's not to be a little bit overwrought here, but that's really the only thing that I could take away from watching that video.